Okay, thank you very much. First of all, NIPITEX stands for the Nigeria International Pipeline Technology and Security Conference. And today we had this event this year has been very successful. The chief sponsor has been the NNPC under the good leadership of the group managing director, Dr. Mekanti Baru. And we have other sponsors like the Shell companies in Nigeria. The country chair has specifically sponsored this event and supported it. And then we have other companies like Nest Oil, we have OilServe, we have BG Technical, we have Agreco, and a few other companies who have generously sponsored this event. And these are people who understand the importance of pipelines as critical infrastructure for our country's development.
Sir, okay, so what can you say about this actual event based on the previous one you've been having? I want to know what's the difference this one will make, or the impact of this one to the last event?
Well, you know what happens is that every outing we have serves to get the message out to everybody, and it serves to bring focus. This year, we are looking at infrastructural development. That means the expansion of the gas pipeline network, the expansion of the oil pipeline network, and even products pipeline network. We're also addressing the issue of rehabilitation of existing pipelines. We have some pipeline systems that have gone 20, 30 years that need rehabilitation, need replacement, and we are bringing focus to all those things this time. And I say, as a key undertone of this conference is the issue of technology and also the issue of security. Technology, better technology for our environment, and security to assure the integrity of our critical assets.
So I'll ride on his back to ask you about the problems and prospects of pipeline technology.
There's so much opportunity for good and new technology in Nigeria. Now you see our environment is different. Our environment crosses everything. It goes from offshore, we have swamp environment, we have onshore, we have land, we have desert environment, and we have pipelines that are intended and should go across the whole of the country. So we are looking for technology that will ensure longevity of these pipelines. And also we have the undertone of issue of vandalism, issue of security. So we're looking for or trying to promote new ways of implementing pipeline, new ways of designing pipelines so that they meet the unique challenges we face. And so many ideas are coming to fore here. Things like HDD, horizontal directional drilling has been talked about. We also talked about different type of materials. We talked about the scoping of pipelines, their routing. Then we talked about bringing the experiences of field pipeline people. These are the people who know where the shoe pinches, involving them in the design of the pipeline, arranging the pipeline, designing it in such a way that they are easier to maintain, they are easier to track, they are easier to monitor, and then building them with monitoring systems, tracking systems. There are so many ideas that have come up just this first day, and we are going to articulate all those and disseminate them. And with your help, we make sure that all stakeholders get the information.
Okay, so what's the level of your collaboration with the community leaders and youths, at least to stop this insecurity for the leisure bounce back often?
Well, you know, years back, we realized that the majority of the problems we have with pipeline is not really a technical or engineering challenge. The element of the good part of it has to do with intervention of other people, third-party involvement. So that's why we expanded our association to involve technical people, professionals, and also involve interest holders and stakeholders who are also represented in our discussions. So we come here and we create sensitization. We let people realize that there is a relationship between the condition of pipelines and the prosperity and the development of the country. If you don't have gas pipelines, you will not have electricity. If you don't have product pipelines, you will not have fuel for your car wherever you live. So we are trying to, through this involvement of participants from the community, NGOs, to let them pass the message that pipelines go beyond what you actually see and they impact every aspect of our industry.
Thank you, sir.
Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the relationship between us as an association and DPR, because we are talking of standards and codes, and the regulator of those standards and codes are the regulators. The DPR plays a very important role in regulating the industry, and whatever we do without getting their buy-in, we're just wasting our time. So I'm going to talk on the synergy between the DPR and the Pipeline Association.
Okay, can you let us into a bit of what we're going to talk about tomorrow?
Yeah, I can say one or two things. Let me just mention that we believe that there are a few gaps in the industry, and there are a few gaps in our standards that we think Pipeline Association can help close that gap with DPR. But we need their buy-in to be able to close that gap. For example, we believe that when we are looking at pipeline, we should be looking at the life cycle cost. But presently, our attention is only based on when you design, construct, and commission, and it stops there. But when you look at a pipeline is supposed to stay for more than 30 years. And now we are now concentrating on just the first 3 years of that pipeline. So what happened to the remaining years of the pipeline? And that's what presently that's not being given any serious attention. And we think pipeline as an association can indeed help DPR in this area. We can at least fill that gap and provide technical support to DPR in ensuring that from commissioning to abandonment of a pipeline system, we take due process and due advantage of ensuring that those pipelines are maintained. Because when you look at the extent of pipeline asset cost in Nigeria, it's enormous, and our signatures is all over the country, right from the north to the south to the east. We are everywhere. I now think that immediately after the commissioning of those facilities, we are not doing anything serious. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow and the way we can help DPR.
We have to make the community guys to be stakeholders. We have to inculcate them in the business of pipeline and also create employment opportunities. They're also good to create a synergy whereby corporate social responsibility, you have to look at the problems of the community, have an MOU, have a better understanding, what we call community agreement or neighborhood agreement, understand projects that will help them, and also train them on pipeline projects. It could be welding, it could be coating, it could be integrity, asset integrity techs. Once they feel they are part of the system and make sure they get values to what they do, that's a better way to engage them. You cannot do without creating an sustainable community relation with them. It's very important, and that's what we are preaching in this very conference. For oil companies, for all the agencies to understand that you can do with the community. When you talk about host communities, it could be the geographical areas, it could be the place you're having the operations, but engaging the host community is very, very important.
Okay, oil gas flaring too has caused devastation in the sector, environmental devastation. Don't you think there's a better way of stopping or putting to normal use that will be beneficial?
Yes, I really think that to control what we call the Dutch disease, gas flaring has caused what we call the devil's light, because it leads to pollution, it's cancerous, people are dying of it, houses have been mixed up. Gas could be converted to power. Gas could be used for fertilizer. There are a lot of things we can use the gas. What we should now start to propose is gas to power, using gas for fertilizer, using gas for other things. Instead of the gas we flare, we are losing almost billions of dollars every time we flare gases. And this gas we flare will help the economy of Nigeria. This gas could help in a lot of ways. Let's take, for instance, We are still living in a dark world. Why should Nigeria be living in a dark world when we have gas that could power all the economies and all the communities? And when we can translate or transform this gas utilization, you see the economy of Nigeria will be at the upstage. How do we use this thing to start? If you look at the AKK project, whereby you have to take gas from straight from Abuja line to Kaduna to Kano to ensure economic stimulation. This gas will help. When we start to power a place like Abakaliki, go to Buguma, go to Forcados, you see that people will start having their own industry or their own business. A young man could have a barber shop. A seamstress could operate anytime. A designer can work at any time because you have power. And if you look at communities in the Western world and Europe, how do they get power 24/7? 24/7 because they use gas, the other sources of powering their system, which I think that instead of losing this gas, using it to kill people, devastating the economy, causing cancer, people are dying, but we don't know. People get sick. We don't know why they get sick, because they flare gas. We have to create a policy whereby we have to stop the flaring of gas and use it for better things.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there any other thing you would like to add on this event?
Well, the Nigeria International Pipeline Technology Conference is very important that all the stakeholders, whether you are a mill owner, you are a pipeline operator, you are into pipeline services, you work for government or any oil company in pipeline-related areas, even communities and banks should be part of this project. We know that pipeline is the bridge between upstream, midstream, and downstream. The economy of Nigeria will be anemic if we don't support pipeline. I'm interested in promoting this very conference because the economic development, it becomes an imperative for us to be involved. If we should be players in the next 20 years, we have to support pipeline, because without it, the economy is dead. Oil and gas industry is dead. Even if you produce, you need to take your oil or gas from the station straight to the market, and the pipeline plays it. So it's very critical. That's why we are all interested in making this to be a reality. And I want to thank you all for coming to be part of the conference too. And we look forward to next year having another fantastic conference on Nigeria International Pipeline Technology and Security Conference, whereby we have to discuss future design considerations for pipeline system in Nigeria. It's very important and a way forward.
Thank you.
And that will, of course, be day 2 of Index 2018. You will receive copies of all the presentations and